What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. We're here for episode number 3 of season 2 for the My Team journey. Check out the last episode if you haven't already, because I'm about to spoil it. In 3, 2, 1. We had the big engine failure, and yes, I want to bounce back really strongly in this race. The Monaco Grand Prix, I want to see if I can go about getting our personal best results of this career mode so far, and there's no better track to showcase our skills, I guess. But in the break, we have managed to return from the dry cleaners. We've got the driver's suits updated. We've got all the team gear sorted for the new season, and all the sponsors are represented. So they were a little bit unhappy with us in the first 2 episodes, but they've got nothing to complain about now. Welcome to episode number 3, the Monaco Grand Prix. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this series. If you are, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to see plenty more racing game content. Is there any other videos you guys want to see on F1 2021? I feel like I've maybe gone into my shell a little bit lately. I've only been doing career mode and co-op stuff. I want to slowly venture out and do other stuff like challenges and stuff like I've done in previous years. I've just got so caught up in the career mode grind, I guess, because contrary to popular belief, I'm actually really enjoying it. But we will do other stuff very, very soon. Do you guys want to see online stuff? Do you want to see just challenges? Let me know. I'd love to know. Assetto Corsa, anything, you name it, and it will happen. Anyway, in the background, I just did a major drag reduction upgrade. That's going to go on in time for the Canadian Grand Prix. Good upgrade to target there to make us a little bit stronger. In terms of the facilities, we're going to upgrade the quality control because we do have an upgrade on the way for the durability side, and I think the failure rate is like 40%. So that's those are chances I don't exactly want to take. So we're going to improve the quality control, and hopefully that'll mean more durability can come to this team and the car.
The personnel department needs some assistance to reach a resolution here.
A new version of our simulator software has been released, blah, blah, blah. Should we go ahead with the purchase? Yes, we're going to spend the 10k and make Nico, once again, boosted in terms of his stats. So, worth the investment.
Not an easy decision, but you handled it well.
And don't the driver's suits look good right there? That is a little glimpse as to what it looks like. Let me know if you guys enjoy it and like it. I think it's pretty cool. Got to match the car at the end of the day. And yeah, I still absolutely love this car. When I load into the game and see the car in the menu and then go out on track for the first time in the day, man, it's awesome. I'm still pinching myself as to how Sevi has made such a masterpiece. It really is that stunning. I don't know how we're going to top this for next season. But anyway, in the background, we did a fuel efficiency upgrade. That'll make sure that our car is lighter at the start of races, and we can be a little bit more efficient in Grand Prix. I could have actually done a fabrication upgrade right then and there, but I'm not going to be doing like multiple upgrades per department for durability just yet. It is going to take more of a priority. I am going to start doing maybe one upgrade per episode now, but I still want to do performance upgrades on top of that. Anyway, there are the new team shirts and stuff. It's hard to see them from those clips, but they are there and updated. Speaking of updates, we have a couple up and down the field. McLaren have upgraded and are nearly the second best car in the field. Aston Martin have improved slightly. We haven't moved anywhere, but the same can be said for pretty much most of the teams up and down the grid. There was a very short turnaround from where were we? Spain to Monaco. So yeah, there's not too much that the teams can do in between those 2 rounds of the season. So pretty much we retain the status quo. I think that's a good thing, given that we're in a more competitive point in the field, I suppose. Meaning we can really challenge for some good points here in Monaco. We've recently done the major front downforce upgrade, and we taken a lot of weight out of the car. And that should make the car quite competitive at a circuit like this, which I'm looking forward to. Anyway, I loaded up a new setup for this track. The old Monaco setup I was running is from the first week of the game, which is not good. But what I found is that the new setup doesn't exactly... It's fast. It feels pretty decent, well, in terms of lap time, but I'm not actually comfortable with it, believe it or not. The car is not behaving in a way that I would like to.
Okay, test over, but I'm
the biggest, oh, I've done a Rosberg.
to run it again.
I've done a Rosberg. Okay, yeah, the biggest thing about this setup is it's quite responsive on the initial turn and the initial bite. But then once you fully loaded up with the tires in the mid-corner, there's just kind of nothing more there. There's no more bite. After that initial turn-in, it feels quite understeery. So, despite loading a dedicated Monaco setup, what I've actually done is I've reverted back to my Singapore setup, which I know works really well in co-op. I know that's a good setup, and so I'm going to run with that. And that setup gave me a 2/10 gain over our previous best, and it meant that we could pass the qualifying program and top out practice 1 somehow. I mean, I think we were already topping out practice 1 at the time, but we went even faster, which was nice. But the Singapore setup just felt that little bit nicer. It felt like it was a little bit better through the mid-corner and rode the curbs quite nicely, which is exactly what you want. Monaco is all about confidence, and the previous setup didn't give me confidence. So, in the long run, I think the different setup is the way to go. Okay then, here we go for qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix. Even though the Singapore setup is better, I think it's worth mentioning that it's not perfect. It's still not exactly the way I want it to feel around this circuit. Maybe it's this car, maybe it's this game, but the way that the car behaves is not completely to my liking just yet. You can see a bit of a back end loss there at the entrance to Turn 1. It's hard to load up the car and really lean on the tires without it kind of backfiring a little bit. I feel like tire temperatures are a little bit sensitive around this circuit, so you can't lean on the tire too much, otherwise it's not going to be fruitful for you. You can see we're very close to the tolerances on the tire temps, 102, 103 degrees, which is not great. You're getting towards the upper echelon of the working range of this tire, and I actually feel like in qualifying now they are actually overheating. So we've now made our bed and we've got to lie in it. We're running with the Singapore setup now. Parc fermé conditions are in effect. But what I can change is the tire pressures. That's what I'm actually going to go and do. We're going to chuck on a new set of tires. Hopefully that can give us a little bit of confidence. We are going to wind back the brake bias to the rear a little bit. And yeah, we're going to see if that can work for us. Final couple of minutes in the session now. And we're nowhere. We're P20 right now in Q1. We topped out practice 1, as you guys saw, but the time is just not attached to this lap, or the last one that we did so far. Bit of a cloud to the wall there on the right-hand side on the exit of the hairpin. No damage received there, which was very lucky on our part. Understeer at the Nobel chicane. It's a bit strange, to be honest. I can't quite put my finger on it here, guys. With hindsight, I wonder if I'm carrying some kind of damage that I can't see, whether it be front wing or maybe even floor damage, because the car just is a bit all over the place, much like it was in practice. If we go P14, which is good enough for Q2 at the moment, but it leaves me a little bit nervous. Through the third sector now. This is our third lap on the tires. We ask a bit too much for the final chicane, and that is game over for our qualifying session. We're just going to have to hope now that no one else improves and knocks us out in Q1. That is not the case. We have squeezed through, but I tell you what, that was a nervous session. I'll tell you that much. We'll get it back into the garage, hopefully fix up the damage, and then go again. Nico gets P10. Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda, each with 5 place grid penalties for the race. So I'm guessing those two made contact over the course of qualifying. We move on to Q2. There is a threat of rain that is going to hit 15 minutes into the session. That's pretty much near the end. So I'm not worried about that. We should be okay to get a couple of runs in and hopefully vie for a place in Q3 in this qualifying session. So we're going to go out now on a used set of softs, the softs that we used in our very first banker run in Q1. And hopefully this can set ourselves a decent marker to go by. We're going to run through the whole lap actually, because the dynamic between Q1 and Q2 was very different. The car actually felt nice on this tire in this session. So in Q1, I think I did a 108.6 to get through to Q2. Now, this time, and you're going to see here, this lap is on a used set of tires, yet it feels like the car is more connected to the road. I think maybe the track temperature, the air temperature, had a part to play in this. I know I'm getting really sweaty now, but I'm trying to get to the bottom of my pace here. But the car was just hooking up a whole lot nicer compared to what it was previously. The car was so much more responsive at the final chicane there. I'm hitting apexes again, which is nice. And this is on a used set of tyres, which is slower than the new sets we used in Q1. Across the line, and we go marginally slower. It was a 108.7, 1/10 slower than what we managed in Q1. And that's with a used set of tyres straight away. So either we were carrying damage or the lower temperatures has meant that we're a bit more switched on in this session. We're currently in P10. And we're going to go out again before the rain hits to see if we can really secure ourselves a place in Q3. So that's what we're going to do. Selecting a new tire. The medium has the same delta apparently as a brand new soft. And I was really confused at the time why that is the case. And, well, the answer is that it's actually raining out on circuit. We're going to go out there now. And that is qualifying over for the Monaco Grand Prix. The rain definitely hit a lot earlier than what was forecasted, and as such, we are left with our banker time, which sees us in P11 for the Monaco Grand Prix. Strategic pole position here at this racetrack, which is actually not a bad place to be. A lot of people on mediums, by the way. Nico down in P14, which is a shocker of a lap, considering he did a 108.2 in Q1. If he repeated that time, he'd be in P2 right now. But he's been knocked out in Q2. What a shame for the former world champion, who's been absolutely sublime in terms of pace. But when it came to crunch time, he could have been right at the sharp end of the field. But yet he's languishing down in P14 and might actually struggle now to get points for this race. We're in the box seat though. So let's see what we can do in the race.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That was how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean Sea. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. Alongside me once again for coverage of today's race, it's none other than the great Anthony Davidson. Let's have a chat about Williams. There've been some tweaks to the power unit regulations, of course, and I have to say it doesn't seem, so far at least, that they've been able to keep up.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs. But this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Verstappen, Charles Leclerc and Sainz, Gasly, Stroll, Ricciardo and Marcus Armstrong, Benjamin, Perez, Nico Rosberg and Ocon, Vettel, Tictum, George Russell and Yuki Tsunoda. They've taken a grid penalty. Giovinazzi, Latifi, Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So then, It's P11 on the grid, no grid penalties promoting us up the field. But yeah, we do have the free choice of tire for the start of this race. Normally I would go for a medium start, but given the car that we're in, I actually think it's worth starting the race on the soft. We're going to have a brand new set of soft compound tires. I want to actually get onto the mediums early to finish the race on, because you got to remember, we're in a slow-ish car. We need to park the bus and hold on to any track position we can get. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to undercut the medium runners who are well inside the top 10, and there are a lot of them. So that's the strategy going forward. Away we go for the Monaco Grand Prix, and now we're finally away. It looks like a good start up against Marcus Armstrong. Can we go around his outside? Yes, we can. Ricardo on the mediums in the McLaren. We go around his outside too as well, as he's struggling to bring those tyres up to temperature. 2 spots gained off the start, and that is not a bad way to get the Grand Prix underway. Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll up next. Someone is in the wall there. It might have been Hamilton running side by side with Verstappen as we get up the inside of the Alpine. And we're going to have to fight this out into the hairpin. Can we go around the outside? He's booked in behind the Aston Martin. Yes, we can. Lots of space being given between the two of us, and we are through for P8 in this Monaco Grand Prix. Thank you very much. I'm actually feeling a little bit more confident in my pace. Given, what happened in Q2, we were able to nearly get into Q3 on a used set of soft compound tyres. We hadn't shown our hand fully in that session, if I'm honest. Q1 was a bit messy. I don't know where the pace was. Some kind of an anomaly holding us back in terms of pace. But Q2 didn't have a good tyre on, and still we got very, very close to Q3. So now that we're in the race, we're always more competitive in the race. We have good strategies usually. This car is good at saving its tyres, by the way. So with all those factors and my confidence in overtaking, I think we're on target for a good race here today. So we're going to do what we always do best around here. We're going to keep it out of the barriers and progressively move forward if we can. We are catching Sainz despite being caught up behind Lance Stroll. That's the corner cut for us there. Can we get up the inside? Into to back. No is the answer. We did take a warning there in an effort to get really close to Stroll, because we want to dive bomb him at the Raskas corner. Can we get close enough? He leaves the door open, and there we go. We get up the inside. The rear tyres are overheating quite a bit as we go through the last 2 corners. The tyres are gone. The tyres are absolutely gone. 111 degrees on the left rear tyre. I was really pushing my luck with the tyres on this lap to try and get close to Lance Stroll. I was getting on the power really early, and as such, we were cooking the rears. And now we've just got to get things back under control again. Because like I said, this setup, this game, I don't know what it is. There's something a little bit different about Monaco this year that I can't quite get into the rhythm that I'm normally in. So having the drive within myself, at least in this race, trying to keep the tyre temps under control. So I'm normally I drive at like 10 out of 11 tenths. If 11 tenths is the maximum, I like to drive at 10 tenths around here just to keep it out of the barriers. But here I'm having to drive at about 8.5 tenths. Very technical here. I'm holding back more than I usually would, and that's just to keep the tyres in check. So although I can't fully unleash my pace, this is what we have to do to make sure that we can keep up a good pace for the longevity of this first stint. Anyway, first stint is pretty much done now for the majority of the soft compound tyre runners. The Ferraris are in very early. That's Leclerc catching up to Nico Rosberg, by the way. He stopped on the previous lap. Sainz on this one just gone by. And according to Jeff, our tyre wear is actually pretty good. He actually told us to extend the stint by 2 laps. So we were meant to come in around lap 12. It's now lap 14. Doing the overcut. The Ferraris, at this point, are getting held up behind my teammates. So they have got the undercut, yes, but now they're going to get held up so that extra couple of laps on this tyre has not been in vain. We're actually going to be able to catch up to the Ferraris. The Ferraris are going to be held ransom, I guess. And we're going to quickly close that gap because Nico is trapped behind an Alpine, I believe. And they're going pretty slowly. So Nico lost the spot off the start. and unfortunately hasn't really made much of his start to the race. As you can see, we go around the outside of Carlos Sainz into Raskas, who says it's a one-dimensional corner. From me, it is certainly not. We can make moves stick around the outside as we try and make that stick around the outside at turn 1. Carlos Sainz, I swear, cut the corner, but we still get through, and we've overtaken a Ferrari. We are now in the points in this Monaco Grand Prix. Here's the replay. Up the inside comes Sainz, steaming into turn 1. All the heroics there, but not quite enough there to keep the position. Thank you very much. Anyway, Charles Leclerc is up next. He's the one who did the biggest undercut out of anyone in this field. And as such, his tyres are going to be dying off quite a bit in this race. He still can't find or make any inroads on my teammate. That's a massive dive bomb into the Nouvelle chicane. And we're going to have to give the place back. But watch out for Sainz, because here he comes up the inside into the back corner. Oh, that's tight. That is, you're not supposed to go too wide through there, but we just about made it stick and hold on to the position. Believe it or not, I didn't get a warning for corner cutting either. I had to find the perfect balance. I had to not lose a position, but I had to not go in too fast to get a penalty. And we just about did that. Nice exit this time out of the Nouvelle chicane. And we get on the inside of Leclerc, side by side through sector 3. And Leclerc backs out. What an amazing sequence of laps we're having here. High drama between us and the Ferraris. He leaves the space, crucially. And Leclerc has been very, very nice to me there, I have to admit. We're through now for P6. Perez is up next. Nico stopped a lap or so ago. And now we're just cutting through the hard compound tyre run as Perez is in again. That's unscheduled. I wonder if he got some front wing damage in the last lap or so. But we are now in the top 5 in this Monaco Grand Prix with 18 laps remaining. And now we're gunning for a faster lap now that we've got some clear air on these medium compound tyres. So here we go. Purple to the first sector. Nice rotation through the Nouvelle chicane. Honestly, the car is rotating better now than what it was in qualifying. It's pretty ridiculous, but the medium compound tyre is really lending itself well to my setup, my driving style. We're not so limited in terms of thermal degradation now. We can push the tyre a little bit more and get away with it. And we seem to be making lap time with it across the line. That is a fastest lap of the Grand Prix. 109.671. And conveniently, I need to scratch my nose. I hate it when that happens. But a bit of a reality check for you guys. No, I'm not running 0% AI. We're on 110. We are just on fire at this racetrack. This car has come alive with this setup. The tyre wear has been quite good. But crucially, for the front runners, they've almost thrown this race away. Hamilton and Verstappen are on hard compound tyres. You wouldn't have seen it, but they actually ran really long in the first stint. They stopped around lap 15, 16, 17. So they did all the hard work and lost a lot of time on softs trying to stretch them. Was it on softs? Maybe they were on mediums. They gone from mediums to hards then. But either way, they're on hards. And they're not really going to have the pace to back it up for the remainder of the Grand Prix. I'm surprised they didn't use the 2 softer compounds to get to the end of this race. But there you go. Maybe they've just wanted to get on the hards as early as possible and park the bus. But yeah, they seem to have lost positions to Lando Norris and Valtteri Bottas. They're running 1 and 2 at this stage. But Hamilton getting caught up on lap traffic. We get around the outside of Nikita Mazepin there in the Haas. And we're staring down the barrel of potentially a podium in this race. We're only a few tenths away from overtaking a Mercedes. Somehow in this race. Great rotation out of the Nouvelle chicane. And we're going to do what we did to Leclerc to Hamilton up the inside. He gives us the space. We get the job done a lot earlier on in the piece this time. And we are through now for P4 in this Monaco Grand Prix. The rotation at the chicane was everything. And then we punch it out of there with overtake. Ever so slight contact with Hamilton's left front tyre. There's a yellow flag. Someone is out of the Grand Prix. It's Yuki Tsunoda. He's caught up to one of the Haas's and he's made massive contact into the barrier at turn 1. And that could well be a safety car. Here's the replay again. That is actually quite heavy contact. It's a bit similar to the Max Verstappen crash many years ago. Just maybe a little bit slower. But yeah, sim damage, pretty brutal. Run into the back of another car, and that is exactly what is going to happen in this race. That's exactly what happened to Verstappen in the Toro Rosso many years ago. What was it like, 2015? Monaco? Could be wrong, let me know. But regardless, that is quite mental to see. That bit of contact with the left rear tyre in a pursuit to actually catch Max Verstappen, the man we were just talking about. So here's the replay, slow-mo as we get out of Casino Square, go over the crest, over the top of the hill, and yeah, just ask a little bit too much of the car. Thankfully, no puncture. Again, running sim damage, anything is possible, but we seem to be chancing our arm and getting away with quite a few things in this race. There's Verstappen right there, literally 1/10 away. He's within dive bomb range. He's losing the back end through the high-speed corners. There's 5 laps to go in this race now, and even though the hard is phasing in quite well, even though the hard compound tyre isn't wearing out as fast as our tyre, we still seem to have massive pace over the Red Bull. It's ridiculous. Verstappen gets DRS on one of the Alfa Romeos. We dispatched them very quickly as well. Hopefully lap cars don't get in the way and ruin this race for us, but Verstappen is really struggling for pace, and he's struggling for balance. You can see he's locking up the tyres. He's under massive pressure as we head into Sector 3. No cigar on this occasion. Verstappen is holding on in this Monaco Grand Prix. I should have got him on that lap, to be honest. I've now cut the corner. Again, we got away with it because we slowed up the car enough. But yeah, Verstappen's lockup really throwed me off there, and I wasn't able to get up his inside into Raskas. That's our #1 overtaking position on the track, I'd say. Rear tyres. Got to start looking after those. We're nearing 30%. Even 30% tyre wear is not much around this place. But yeah, we can't go throwing the car around like crazy, because then, oh, we're going to have a similar situation to what we did in the first stint, where the tyres just refused to operate correctly. So let's calm it down as we head on to the penultimate lap. We need to get some smooth exits and not overheat the rear tyres. That is key to getting the job done. Let's just calm it down and get some nice exits. We know we've got the pace. Let's be patient and wait for the right opportunity to present itself. Max, even with our mistakes, he's still all over the place and losing time quite a bit. He just doesn't have the mechanical grip, and those hard compound tires, they're at least around a second a lap slower than the medium. It's making all the difference, and we're just riding a massive wave of confidence in this car right now. The car feels incredible, and the tires still holding on quite well at the back end of this race. So we're getting towards the business end of this race now. This is where we make up a lot of time. The Novel chicane. Mwah. In terms of pace and rotation through there. You love to see it. Now, let's set up the move. We're getting nice and close. We've got a slingshot out of the final chicane, up into overtake, dive bomb up the inside, and that is a textbook move. P3 in this Monaco Grand Prix, a place we have never been so far in this car with this team. If we can hold on, that'll be our first podium of our career mode. Here's the replay. Max left the space, and it was a very clean move at the end of the day. Surprised he left as much space as what he did. It was very tight there in terms of space, but we got it in and got it done cleanly, which is the most important thing. Norris is 6 seconds up the road. There's no way we're going to get him with a lap to go, so we're just going to consolidate this position. We're now going to park the bus. Even with our 11-10 wings, our ridiculously high downforce, we've still got a lot of straight line speed, and we're not really under threat from being overtaken. Valtteri Bottas wins the Monaco Grand Prix. Lando Norris gets P2 in the McLaren, and we, in our own car we have made from scratch, are going to get a podium in this second season.
Top job, my friend, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you've pulled through. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Driver of the day, Mr. Monaco, has arrived in career mode.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Wow, what a race. That was a real yo-yo one, that one. A roller coaster of emotions. There are a few contentious moments over the course of the weekend where we were struggling for pace, struggling for tyre temps, or just struggling in general. P11 to P3. Overtook 2 Ferraris. We overtook some Alpines. Sergio Perez had issues. Then the front runners just fell off their rocker in terms of strategy. Hard compound tyres. Mercedes and Red Bull, what were you thinking? But there we go. That is our first podium in career mode. And this is how we achieved it. Here's the overtake on Verstappen. Absolutely full commitment through the third and final chicane. And here we set up the move. Max not covering the inside at Raskas. This is something I wonder if the AI will start to do more in future F1 games. But there we squeeze in between the gap of the barrier and Max Verstappen. And it was quite close on the right rear tyre as well. Then here we had to make sure that we didn't cut him off too early, because that would have sent us both into the barrier. Cleared him, and that was job done. P3 for the Monaco Grand Prix. Have a little happy weave on the exit of the corner. That is your first podium in F1, son. Thank you very much. P5 in the driver's standings now. Nico drops back a couple of places, but what a result for us. Our first podium of the season, our first podium in this car, on this game. And, well, it doesn't get any tougher than that. Having to overtake Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Leave a like if you enjoyed that. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. I bloody love Monaco. Honestly, I can't believe we pulled that off. We are, what, like solidly in the midfield? We as a car, as a team, we're only faster than the likes of AlphaTauri, not Alpine, Alfa Romeo, Haas, and Williams. The rest of the teams in this field are faster than us. But we really switched it on at this racetrack. Nico, I've got to say, he did bottle it. I've got to say, should have been a lot higher. He should have been in Q3. He should have been in the top 5, really. But one bad lap in Q2 has ruined his race weekend. He got caught up behind an Alpine and got stuck there the whole race, which is a massive shame. So there is pace in this car. And it seems that Monaco now is one of those tracks that lends itself well to our car. Given the recent upgrades we put on this thing and the tyre wear upgrades, we really, really maximized everything out of this race weekend. And if this is the kind of performances, these are the kind of results we're getting out of Season 2, out of a car that's only midfield at best, look out in Season 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to be lapping people if we have anything like a competitive car in future seasons. But there we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You can always count on Monaco to deliver a fantastic race, a fantastic result. And after the disaster that was the Spanish Grand Prix, we have some momentum again. And hopefully we can carry it into Canada, which again, another street circuit, another circuit I do really well at. Hopefully some big points are on the horizon once again for Marduk Motorsport. Anyway, that's it from me today. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.